Welcome to Fencing Buddies podcast. I'm Alex, and with me is Sarah. Today we're diving into a really important article by Nirav Kiritkumar Pandya, titled Disparities in Youth Sports and Barriers to Participation. It highlights major issues from financial hurdles to injury treatment, and how it impacts young athletes.
Thanks, Alex. This article caught my attention immediately because fencing, as a predominantly club-based individual sport, really embodies a lot of the trends and disparities it discusses. The pay-to-play model, especially, resonates deeply with our sports structure.
Exactly. I mean, right off the bat, the article mentions this shift from school-based to private, club sports, leading to a pay-to-play model. For fencing, we're almost exclusively club-based for competitive athletes. How do you think this impacts the diversity and accessibility of fencing, specifically when we look at the financial barriers mentioned?
It's huge, Alex. The article cites that over half of parents pay thousands a year for sports, and children from homes earning less than $25,000 participate at a significantly lower rate than those from higher-income families. Fencing has high upfront costs for equipment, blades, masks, jackets, plus ongoing club fees, private lessons, and travel for national competitions. This creates a really high financial barrier, essentially fencing off a large portion of potential athletes, especially from communities of color, as the article notes. We're missing out on so much talent.
That's interesting, because I've seen that in my athletes over the years. Kids with natural talent sometimes just can't sustain the cost. And then, related to the club model, the article talks about single-sport specialization becoming common, and with it, an increase in injury and burnout. In fencing, we see a lot of kids specializing early, often training intense footwork and blade work year-round. What are your thoughts on that risk factor for fencers?
It's a huge concern for fencers. The article highlights overuse syndromes of the knee, shoulder, and elbow, as well as traumatic knee and elbow injuries. Think about the repetitive stress of lunges, the constant dynamic balance, the para-repose sequences, often hundreds of times in a session. Without proper conditioning and cross-training, which multi-sport athletes often get, fencers are absolutely prone to these kinds of overuse injuries. And the mental pressure of constantly being on the strip, especially for scholarships, which the article points out are incredibly rare anyway. That leads straight to burnout, affecting their focus and timing.
Right, the scholarship thing is a big motivator for many parents, but the article lays out how only about 7% of high school athletes play collegiately, and even fewer get full scholarships. For fencing, those numbers are even smaller. I always tell my fencers to pursue it because they love it, not just for a scholarship dream. But let's shift gears a bit. It's clear that these disparities create an uphill battle for many kids, as the article says. As coaches, we see the effects, from kids dropping out due to cost or injury, to the mental toll of burnout. We need to remember that youth sports, including fencing, should be about promoting lifelong healthy physical activity, not just chasing a scholarship dream that often doesn't materialize.
Exactly. The larger structural changes the article calls for, investment in community programming, local facilities, and better school funding, are essential to democratize sports like fencing. We need to actively work to lower those barriers so more young people can experience the physical and mental benefits of our sport.
That's a powerful thought to end on, Sarah. For fencers, coaches, and parents listening, the key takeaway here is to be mindful of these disparities, advocate for broader access, prioritize long-term health over early specialization, and ensure timely, equitable care for all athletes. It's about building a healthier, more inclusive future for youth sports.
Absolutely. More inclusive pathways make our sport stronger for everyone.
Thanks everyone for listening to Fencing Buddies podcast. Until next time, keep your distance and stay sharp.